Yes, you guys, welcome back. And in today's news daily video, I'll be discussing summer transfer activity. That's going to include the potential departure of Timo Werner, the potential arrival of KOUNDE, plus much news, you guys. We've got a ton of things to break down today. Most likely there is going to be 2 news daily videos out because we do have some big news surrounding all the latest bidding news coming out, especially surrounding the Ricketts family. So I hope you guys definitely stay tuned today. Smash that like button. Before we get into anything, I need to get one big plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by friends of the channel in Spitch. Spitch is the ultimate fantasy manager app game which allows you to test your managerial skills, abilities and knowledge against other users where you can compete for free, or if you decide to put some money into your bet, you can compete to win up to a share of 70k a week. But regardless, you guys, right now this month, you definitely want to download Spitch because they have an unreal prize giveaway, draw giveaway, which is entirely free to enter for every single user. All you got to do is download the app, fill in your registration details, and of course provide your ID very quickly. And once you do that, I'm going to show you exactly how you compete to participate in this competition. As you guys can see, you must create your own team first. It's very easy to do so. Choose the lineup, the formation you want to use. As you guys can see on the screen, this is the team that I am using for the next match week to come. Let's hope that I can get some luck for the next week. And once you do that, you confirm your captain, and then you join for free and you enter. There are some amazing prizes that can be won. Top 3 ones include Beats, AirPod Pros, and of course the Apple Watch Series 7, which I actually do have. Is sick, and if you can get it for free, then obviously why not? So if you guys want to try Spitch out for yourself, this month is the perfect time. Download Spitch, it's in the description below. And now getting back to the main video, and let's discuss some potential departures involving Christensen and Azpilicueta. Now, in the case of Christensen, Barcelona president Juan Laporte confirmed that 2 signings for next season, that includes a midfield player and 1 centre-back, have already been agreed upon. And Fabrizio Romano reported that those 2 players were Frank Kessie from AC Milan and Andreas Christensen from our club. I'm a bit disappointed by that news. I definitely rate Christensen a lot, and I guess it's quite disappointing knowing that we've produced this player since he was like 16 years old. We've turned him to a top class centre back who has the potential to be a world class centre back of his generation, and essentially we're letting him go for free. Of course, this entire sanction period has not helped. You'd imagine that Barcelona definitely, really push their efforts even more during these times to force through a move for the player. But I guess ultimately the fact that maybe Christensen didn't feel valued by the contract and money being offered his way was one of those reasons that probably enticed him to probably think, you know what, maybe it's time to try pastures new. If I'm going to Barcelona, I'm not only on a great wage, but reports are that he's going to sign an incredible signing on fee bonus. And of course, you're signing for a historic club like Barcelona, who are showing some, really impressive signs for things to come in the future now under Xavi, and with some of the great talent they have at the club currently. So I feel like it makes a ton of sense all round. I'd probably say good luck to Christensen. And in the case of Azpilicueta, Barcelona are still fighting to try and sign him. They value his experience, his expertise, and with the young players at their disposal in the squads, Xavi definitely wants to have some experienced figures, especially, experienced Spanish, internationals at the club to work alongside these young players. Now, currently, due to the minutes that he's accumulated this season, the appearances that has to be spaced up this season, it does mean that his contract extension clause has automatically started now. However, due to these current sanctions, nothing can be done at this point in time to push through for a move. So Barca have an opportunity here to, really entice Azpilicueta to, persuade him to sign for them. Would I be surprised by that? Probably not. And to be honest, I'd actually be okay with Azpi leaving. I mean, the guy has done absolutely wonders for us throughout his entire career. We can only be in debt and grateful for his services. But I think with the quality we have now, I think with the players we have in defence, especially great young centre-backs to come, and the fact that we probably need more dynamism in the wing-back areas, let's say if Reece James isn't able to play as that first choice, I don't think that Azpi brings that same dynamic that we necessarily need now in case times like this happen. So good luck to Christensen. Let's see what happens with Azpilicueta. And right now we move on to the next story. We have 2 big stories. After Timo Werner, I'll discuss KOUNDE. But starting now with Timo Werner, I mean, the reality is, he hasn't played more than 2 league starts since November. Of course, he had been out for 1 month due to COVID naturally, and when you're at this level, COVID is a respiratory disease. It's going to affect your stamina levels and your fitness, so it does make a lot of sense. But I always keep saying this, but I was telling you guys before the season started, I kept hearing these rumors suggesting that Thomas Tuchel didn't necessarily rate Timo Werner the same after working with him last season, and he was open to letting the player leave. And based on the reports coming out from Germany, it does seem like Timo Werner is destined to leave us come the end of the season. I'm going to break down the reports, you guys, before giving my thoughts and opinions. And currently, him and his agent Volker Struth are already holding discussions to leave the club and potentially return back to the Bundesliga. Now, Werner's deal does currently end in the year 2025, and reports are suggesting that we would accept offers of around minimum 40 million euros to sell the player, which is around like 36 million pounds minimum. I understand that low, transfer sale due to the fact that Timo Werner is like our 3rd or 4th highest player in the squad at this point in time. He's earning like around 250,000 a week. He's earning like 12 million, 30 million per season. Absolutely crazy money considering the goal return doesn't necessarily match up or reflect the money that we spent to buy this guy in the first place. Now, reports are suggesting that Dortmund are a club that's showing some strong intent towards the player. Naturally, they're losing Haaland at the end of the season. However, due to Timo Werner's high wage demands and due to the fact that they really have their eyes and focus on German, for me, the German Mbappe and Adeyemi from RB Salzburg, it seems like maybe it could be harder to sell Timo Werner than we first realised. Personally, I think Werner would bang for Dortmund. Of course, he knows the Bundesliga already. Dortmund play a very expansive attacking style of football. We saw Michy Batshuayi get like double digits in goals literally just half a season there. They're a team that creates goals for their strikers, and considering the talent that they're looking to bring in the summer, Niklas Süle is guaranteed to sign for them. I think they've agreed to have to sign Schottelbeck as well, another talented left-footed German international player as well too. It does feel like Timo Werner could be good experience to have for their team, but here I am trying to sell Werner to Dortmund as if they're going to watch my video anyway. But now I want to give my thoughts and opinions behind this. And I guess ultimately, Werner was a very niche player we signed. Now, when Lampard was still here, I can maybe understand why he was keen to look towards a player like him, especially using him down that left flank as like a left forward in that sense. So he's like getting on the end of the moves, similar to what Christian Pulisic was doing in Lampard's first season. That makes sense. However, if you're not playing that one set way, then Werner's limits are very evident to see. Ultimately though, I do have some sympathy towards the players. I definitely feel like it must be very frustrating when you were signed to play under one system and one role, and then that changes literally 6 months later. I think currently he just doesn't really complement the way we play football, and I think due to his lack of technical ability, because his game was never about technical ability, it was always about his explosive pace, timing of his runs, his intelligent movement, and of course his finishing as well too. When you don't create those factors for the player, naturally he's going to struggle. I know people were mad about, the veiled criticism that he sent towards Tuchel after he scored against Israel for Germany. It's not the first time players have commented about maybe not being played in their best position. Personally, I don't really think it's enough of a reaction to really get mad about, in my opinion. But I think ultimately for me, players are human beings. And when you're playing as a striker at the very highest level, the pressure to score goals in decisive moments is absolutely unreal. And I think for me, if you're a player like Timo Werner and you don't have that natural confidence and like a regular supply of assists, a regular supply of team moves that are guaranteed to create good scoring chances for you, then ultimately you're going to get unstuck in the end. And ultimately, your confidence will naturally drop if you feel like you're constantly getting random opportunities and the pressure in those moments gets too high. I get it, and I really do get it. With the money players are on today, the way that the game's become so inflated price-wise, it's natural for all of us to think, you're on big money, you're a pro. How did you miss some of these chances? But as I'm saying, there are natural limits in football. And just forgetting money and putting that to the side, we never really did much to create a consistent goal-scoring opportunity for Werner. And I say this because when I did my reaction video on him, I made the point that the guy basically scores the same 5-6 goals. And what does that really tell you when a player that we've just signed for big money scores the exact same type of goals week in, week out. It tells you that the system definitely elevates his performances, and if you're not looking to recreate a system like that, you will never get the full amount out of the player. For me, this is an amazing opportunity for Broja, and I just think it's just common sense. I mean, the fact that, Werner's on like, 12 million a season, he's got like, 3 more years left, that's like nearly another 36 million we'd have to pay for him in wages. Getting him off the wage bill will be an important thing, and knowing the fact that we can literally bring in Armando Broja for free, who costs us absolutely nothing. In a way, it then makes sense to, for example, sell Christensen on a free, bring in KOUNDE, and then sell Timo Werner, knowing that you have Broja as a ready-made talent to fight for that #1 spot. It's the common sense thing to do. He has to go. I got no qualms against the player, but it really is time for every party now to move on. So right now, you guys, again, with the final big story today, and let's discuss a player that I feel is guaranteed to be signing for us in the summer, and that's KOUNDE. Normally I get very bored talking about this report because it's like the same thing, but this time we got some very particular interesting information that's come out, and I do think that this is like pretty juicy news, you guys. So reports are coming out from Spain suggesting that Sevilla would want 60 million euros to sell KOUNDE at the end of the season. That's literally a saving of 20 million because last summer they wanted 80 million to allow the player to leave. Now, what's the main reason behind why Sevilla are selling him for a reduced amount of money? The reality is they've had a very disappointing run in Europe this season, and due to having that disappointing run, they're missing out on a ton of money. So basically they budgeted to earn around 83 million from prize revenue, but currently that's set at around 46 million due to their poor form in Europe. So there's a 30 mil deficit that has to be filled. You're looking at that Sevilla squads, and KOUNDE is the only sellable asset of like big value. The fact that he was nearly set to leave after agreeing terms with us means that he's destined to leave this summer as well too. Now for Sevilla, they bought him originally for 25 million euros from Bordeaux. They paid up to 15 million currently. They have 10 million left to amortize the deal. However, he did agree a 20% sell-on clause in case KOUNDE left Sevilla to pastures new. So that would mean that for Sevilla to make a profit, they'd have to sell him for minimum 52 million euros. So ideally, to earn a bit of a profit, they'd want to sell him for 60 million euros. So it really feels like if we want to sign KOUNDE, we have to spend the money. And with clubs knowing that by the time the summer window comes, we're going to have new owners. New owners are going to want to spend big in the summer to make a statement and of course appease the fans. I feel like 60 mil should be enough to finally sign KOUNDE. I'll give some brief thoughts though. I'm always going to feel though like by committing to signing KOUNDE, is that essentially confirming that we are going to be like a back three team for the foreseeable future. I bring up this, talking point, yeah, because considering the talent we have in midfield and in attacking areas, when you're using a back five system, naturally you will always miss out on using one of those mid or attacking players. And I feel like we have to get to the point where we fully decide what are we going to do. Does it not make maybe more sense to rely upon using the midfield talent and attacking talent we have? Because otherwise we're going to make players unhappy. And knowing that a few defenders technically could be leaving at the end of the season due to the entire sanctions at this point in time, could there be a potential opportunity to prepare a team that's used to playing in a back four system? Let's not act like Tuchel doesn't know how to make teams work in a 4-3-3. He's been doing that his entire career. He's used a multitude of formations throughout his entire managerial career. So the quality levels wouldn't dip. And I guess now the fact that we have like Jalaba, reports that Levi Cole, our wonder kid, is destined to be coming back next season too. Thiago Silva committing to stay as well too. I'd imagine by the time the owners come, Rudiger will probably sign a new contract, and maybe Aspie or someone might stay as well too. I feel like there's wiggle room now to really, finalize what the future is going to be like now going into the next few years. So I don't know, maybe KOUNDE could be the guy to sign potentially, but I want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions behind this news. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Later tonight, I'm going to release another video based on all the bidding news that's come out, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And on that note, I'm EFC, this is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.